everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Sue of Bendnstretch with Sue. In today's video, I'm taking you through a Pilates practice where I did this on Zoom with my students live, and I incorporated some weights in this one. Now they're just light weights to add some extra bit of resistance to the resistance that you create yourself using intention and mind in the muscles. So you could completely do this without weights, but if you choose to use some, I have some 2-pound weighted balls. I have 2 of those that I'll link down below for you, as well as some 5-pound dumbbells. I have a couple of those, and some 10-pound weights as well. So I'll be going through, I've got 2 of these also, and at times I will omit the weights completely. So listen to your body, and let's get going now. If you haven't already, I'd really encourage you to subscribe. I'd appreciate it if you did. Hit that like button if you do like the workout, and be sure to also turn on that notification bell so you'll know when I upload new content, and you can check it out and check me out in the next video. And standing nice and tall, and take a few shoulder rolls, but just roll out those shoulders. And from here, take a nice deep breath in and bring those palms up. Exhale and bring the arms back down again. And repeat that a few times. Just gonna check in here. It looks like everybody has disappeared. Okay, no, everybody's still here. Good. Okay. From here, with your next exhale, take a nice big breath in to reach up, and then on an exhale, hinge from the hips to come into a forward fold. Good. There it is, everyone, again. Spotlight. And from here, just let yourself dangle down there. Bring your head down toward the feet. You can add a little bit of swaying, maybe a little bit of rocking as well as you move forward and back. A few more admittance here. And as you bend your knees, take your time to unroll yourself. So come on up, nice and slow, unrolling and articulating through your spine to come all the way back up to standing nice and tall. So taking a big breath in, you can reach up again, a little bit of a lean back, and this time as you reach forward, keep the arms alongside the ears. You can soften the knees as much as you can here, starting to wake up those abdominal muscles, reaching the tailbone back, fingertips reach forward, take another breath in, and exhale to fold. As you inhale to flatten the back, you can keep fingertips down the floor or on your shins. Breathe in to lengthen the spine, breathe out, walk the hands away, and come on into a plank position. So aligning yourself nice and strong as you wake up the backs of those legs, glutes, the abdominals, everything supporting nice and strong. Reaching the head forward, roll onto the tippy toes, and then you can drop to the knees if you need to. Lower yourself down to your mat. And from here, keeping the hands close to the ribs, the elbows close to the ribs, lifting up into either a cobra or maybe an upward dog, bringing the hips up off the floor. Open up through the chest, bring the knees down, and push back into child's pose. So just pressing those hips back, stretching through the sides of the body, the back body. Come on up onto the pads of the fingers to get even more length in the sides here. Walking your hands over to the right side of the mat, pushing the hips back still. Walking the hands over to the opposite side, reaching that tailbone away from the fingers, and then sliding the hands under the shoulders as you come into a table position. Knees under hips, wrists under shoulders. Breathing in to lift the gaze, breathing out to round and tuck your tailbone. So move through some cow cats here. Great way to get those cobwebs out of the spine, the lower back especially, the hip area as well. Continue to breathe in as you lift your gaze, breathe out as you round. And on your next inhale, come on back to nice flat tabletop. From here, we'll lift the right leg straight back, bringing the knee toward the elbow, and reach it back again. Try to keep the hips squared, bringing knee to elbow, reach that leg long. This time, bring the knee toward the nose, tucking in and stepping the foot forward to come into a nice long, low lunge. So you can press into that front heel, feel the hip, especially that left hip if you've got your right leg forward, opening up, open through the chest, reach the arms nice and wide open, bringing the hands behind the back into nice fingers, press the heart forward and upward. And as you release it, shift the hips back and lift the toes away from the mat. Bringing your belly toward your thigh. And then as you bring the hands back under the knee, the shoulders, knee under the hip, we come to the other side as you reach your left leg long. Inhale it. Exhale to bring the knee toward your elbow again. Inhale, reach it back. Exhale, squeeze it in. Inhale, reach it back. Bring that knee in towards your nose, tuck it in, and step the foot forward. Sink your hips. So make sure there's enough space between your front heel and your back knee so that you've got the room to melt the pelvis forward. Reaching the arms up. You can interlace the fingers for steeple hands here. Lifting the heart more to create even more of a back bend. Breathe in, get long. Breathe out, see if you can press a little bit more in your front heel. And as you bring the hands down, once again, we push the hips back, lifting the toes, ball of the foot away from the floor, and melting over top of that front thigh. Breathe, get nice and long, and breathe out. Sink a little bit more, and then bringing that foot down. We'll tuck the back toes under, lift the knee up, and bringing your back heel to the floor. You can bring your front hand along the inside of your foot to bring yourself into side angle. Stretching, opening up. Bring that hand behind your back to open the chest, the shoulder a little bit more. Looking up past your top shoulder. And then release the hand down and we'll shift through the center. So turn both of the toes to point straight ahead. Keeping the heart lifted. If you need a little support here, you could use one of your dumbbells or a block if you had one. Open up the heels a little bit wider and take your right hand underneath your face. You can be up on the fingertips or all the way down on the palm. As you reach up with the left hand, look up to that hand. So we've already stretched that shoulder a bit more. And then take the opposite hand under the face and switch it around. Reaching up, looking up. So nice twist to the spine here. Try to stack the top hand right above the bottom one and bring that hand down. Shifting over to the other side for side angle here. Turning the toes toward the other edge of your mat and reaching up with your opposite arm. Look up. And if possible, take that arm, wrap it around your low back. Look past that top shoulder, bend that front knee, get a good stretch in the inner thighs, and circle the arm, release it down, pivot on the ball of the back foot, and step it in, and slowly unroll. Bring those shoulders up, down, and away from the ears. So we're nice and warm now, ready to pick up your weights. I would say you probably want to use your heavy to medium weight. We're going to start off working the big muscles and work our way down to the smaller muscle groups. So as you pick up those weights, Keeping the toes pointed straight ahead, open through the chest, take a breath in, and as you exhale, sink down, bringing weight into your heels and coming back up. Now when you come up, make sure you're squeezing the glutes, so sinking and pressing into those heels especially. So even though you've got contact through your toes, you are really focusing the weight mostly in the heels, in the balls of the feet, and then the toes are lighter, so that you are really using those big posterior muscles. Keeping the chest nice and open as you do this. Maybe you're able to gradually sneak down a little bit lower in your squat, which will help to keep that range of motion so that you have good mobility, because mobility is a combination of strength along with flexibility. So as we come up this time, I'm going to keep the weights, but bring them up to the shoulders. Now, if you have issues with your knees here, or your range of motion in your hips is somewhat limited, you will want to modify this movement to a squat like this, keeping the weights at the shoulders, dropping them if you need to. Now, if you have more mobility, we're going to add in a little bit more of a tougher movement. So you're going to press through your left foot as you bring your right knee down to the floor. Press into that left foot as you bring the right foot back under the hip for your squat. So try to keep the knees bent if you can, bringing the right knee down and stepping the foot in. Bring it down and step it in. So really working that left side here as we continue. Now, if you need a little break in between straighten the legs, that's going to take some of the load off, making it a little bit easier. As you do this as well, try to keep your body as centered as possible. So we've got another 3 of these from here. You're going to start to really feel that on the left side. I know I am. Last one. And bring it in. If you can, keep the knees bent. We switch to the other side and step that in. Keeping your chest nice and open, lifted as much as possible. We've got another 6 to go. Keeping that foot really well grounded. So this is where you may notice imbalances in the body. So you want to try to work those out so that gradually the 2 sides are more equivalent to each other. We've got one more after this one. Last one. Bring it in. Whew. And straighten those legs. Take a nice shoulder roll. Once again, give the head a little turn here from side to, or a little tip from side to side. Loosen up that shoulder, neck, making sure that you're not stiffening up in here. And as you bring the head back to the center, I'm going to pick up one weight, and I'm going with my heavier one for this. Now we're going to come into a cross deadlift. So again, we're targeting those big muscles through the back of the body. And the abdominal muscles are on, and they're keeping the back supported. Bend your knees if you need to. Now, if your flexibility is very limited, your hamstrings are really tight, take your feet further apart from each other. So bring them a little wider than hip width. If you have pretty good flexibility, you really want to focus on targeting the straight. Bring those feet in a little bit closer, but not touching. So from here, left arm is out to the side, right hand's holding on to the weight. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, reaching across towards your left ankle, toes, shin, whatever you can reach. Bring it back up again and continue to reach across. Now, as we do this movement, be sure that you are bringing your chest, your right shoulder towards your left leg, rather than reaching with your hand and your arm. Your arm basically stays in the same position. It's your twisting that creates the reach across. So a little bit tricky, but you really want to feel like that right shoulder is plugged in to the shoulder socket. The shoulder blade is stuck into your back, and that's all there is to it. There's no other movement. We're doing one last one here before we switch it over to the other side. Bring it up and switch hands. So opposite hand, go back to the side, feet in the position that works for you, and reach it across. Breathe in when it's easy, breathe out when it's more challenging. Remember, pull that belly button towards your spine. Keep the pelvic floor lifted so that you maintain that perfect Pilates stance. And if you notice my arm, it really is not moving. My body is moving, and I'm bringing it across, reaching, and you should feel this in the glutes, backs of the legs. You might even feel it in the abdominals because they're working hard to keep your back braced. So we've got another 3 to go on this side, 2 more from here, and 1 more, and bring it up. So we're going to set that heavier weight aside, and we move on to kind of a combination of hips, core, butt, hamstrings, and some shoulder action in there too. So we are going to take I'm going with my medium weight, so you might go light, medium here. Heavy if you've been doing this for a while and you feel that you want to burn a little bit more energy this morning. So we're coming into a clean and press, adding in with our squat. So keeping the knuckles facing you, we're going to bring an upright row, bring the elbows, and if you see my elbows, they're really staying in line with my shoulders or slightly below my shoulders. You don't want to bring them way up. So the weights are at the base of my ribcage, just below or around the bra line. So pulling it up, flip as you squat. Use that squat to help you press those weights up. Bring them back down again as you squat and flip them down. So we're going to pull up, flip and squat, press, squat as you come down, and flip them back. So adding a little bit more speed if you're comfortable doing so, or keep it nice and slow with the emphasis of contracting the muscles that you're using. So stay strong in the belly, stay strong in the legs, and don't put strain in your shoulders. We want to have strength in the shoulders. So that's why you don't want to have the weights be too heavy. And keep going here. I'm just going to turn sideways. And what you're going to, if you see, my weights are pretty much going straight up and straight down. So if I went right up against the wall, I would not hit the wall. So it's a straight up and down line, but don't crank the weights back when you bring them up overhead, just keeping them slightly in front of you, the same as they are in your row. So last one, and bring it down. So from here, we're going to go right into working the biceps. As I start with the left weight out in front. So I'm going to bring it at a 90-degree angle in front of you and hold it right there. Starting off with the right hand, holding onto the weight with the knuckles facing into my leg. Keep that chest proud. Inhale. Exhale as I curl it up and bring it back down again. Curl and down. So squeezing. Again, I mentioned the last time, it's like you're trying to get your forearm to touch your bicep. So you're not trying to get your hand to touch your shoulder. You do want to maintain some distance there so that you are squeezing in the belly of that bicep muscle. So let's do a few more. We'll do 3, 2, keep an eye on that left hand, making sure that it's not creeping up on you. Release it, and let's switch it around. So bring the already worked, already tired right bicep to flexion as we bring the left one up and down. So keep that going, squeezing. Remember, when you're at the top, it's as if you're pausing long enough to just bring your forearm toward the bicep. Now mine is not going to touch. I don't think anybody's could, but you want to have that intention of it touching, unless you have a really big bicep. And I've seen those at the gym back in the day when we used to go to the gym. So a few more on this side. And squeeze it. Taking your time as well, so you're not throwing the weight out, up, and letting it drop down. So that's why it's important to have an adequate weight. So you don't want it too light, but not too heavy either. So let's finish it up with the last two. One more, and bring it up, down, and release both of them. So you can set your weights aside as we stretch into those biceps, and thumbs are up and then thumbs are down. Keep pressing. Stretch, 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 pressing those hands back behind you and roll it out. So from here, we're going to come up against, so we've got a little bit more work on those biceps. Now you may want to go heavier here. We're going to have both of them in flexion. So I'm going with my 10-pound ones just for the heck of it. You're going to want to move close to a wall for this one. We're coming into our wall sit. So rocking yourself up so that you are bringing your bottom up against the wall, and then you're able to lower your hips down to knee level and come on into flexion here as you hold on to those weights. So from here, we're gonna breathe. You're gonna press into your heels. Your tendency is likely going to be to press into your toes. That's hard on the knees. Let's fire up those big glute muscles by pressing in the knee into the heels. See if you can lift your toes up while you're here, holding it, breathing, feeling the heat setting in here. Let's keep holding it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. To come away from the wall. Shake out those legs. And you can set the weights aside. You might even give yourself a little quad stretch here as we take a hold of the foot, pointing the knee down and tucking your tailbone as well. So you really get that sense of opening up the hip as well as trying to get into the belly of that quad muscle also. Switch it over to the other side. Nice full breath, and exhale, bring it in. Trying to intend the knee. So good for the balance as well. Always good to work on balance. And take one more breath. Make sure that tailbone stays tucked, and then release it. All right, so picking up, I would say your heaviest weights that you have, because we're going to be stationary for the next exercise. So holding on to those weights at either side of the body, coming to one end of your mat, we're going to step way back with the opposite foot. So we're coming into a lunge position here. So you want to start off with the back leg straight. There's a slight bend in the front leg. Breathing in, keeping the chest open, and then breathing out to bend that back knee and straighten again. So bend and straighten, bending and straightening. Always a little challenging for balance. Keeping that front foot nice and wide and grounded, moving up and down like an elevator. And from here, we'll hold it at the bottom and pulse it out for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and straighten. step it in. Other side, so other leg goes back. Big step again, so nice open step. Make sure that you're staggered enough front foot, back foot, so that that helps broader base of balance and support. And when you're ready, open that chest, bend the back leg, and lift up again. Maintaining your Pilates engagement in the core. So pelvic floor, just slightly lifted. It's about 30 to 50% engagement in the pelvic floor muscles, in the low abdomen. So you're not bracing with all your might, you're just making sure that you've got that good, strong support, but you are not overdoing it. Overdoing it, never good for the muscles of the hips, the back, the pelvis. So we've got another 2 of these. Seems a little harder on the side, a little bit more fatigued now. Last one, this time we're going down. We're holding it, pulsing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew, step that in. So big muscles, getting a good workout. Set your weights aside, and I'm going to go ahead and pick up my lighter weights for this next one. So from here, this is our last standing one. From here, we're going to work our way down after this one. So I'm going for the light weights, just holding them at my sides as we start, actually in front of me, as we start out. We're coming into some curtsy lunges. We're going to be taking the left leg back, and we're going to work the right leg and left, but lots of load on that right leg. And we're just going to keep working that one, as well as adding in some raises, side raises. So breathing in, open the chest, breathe out, and step back. So again, you don't want to go too high. It's about controlling the lift of your weights. If you find that your arms have a tendency to kind of fly and flop upward out of control, bring more attention, awareness to what you're doing in your execution, or maybe you consider going with a heavier weight. So as you come back, you're bending that back knee. This is really great for the outer thigh, the quads, as well as the adductors in your inner thigh. So keep that flowing and moving. So we have another one of these on this side. We're just going to stop and hold it right here. Hold it, hold it. Add little baby pulses with the back knee as we go down and up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and step that leg in. Roll out the shoulders. And from here, we're going to bring the weights back to the shoulders as we did earlier. So you just want to have them in front. You're not resting them on your shoulders. And then this time we're going to turn the right leg back. So as we step back, we reach up and in. Reach up and down. Reaching back, reaching up simultaneously. Reach. Again, when you reach up, your arms are staying just slightly in front of your face so that you're not impinging in that shoulder. Keeping the hips squared when you come back to center. And you're trying to minimize the twisting as you reach back. Lots of load in your left heel. Last one, hold it here. Hold those arms in front of the face. Bend them if you need to. Pulsing that back knee for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Step it in. Release those arms down and set those weights aside. So we're going to just bring the arms nice and wide again. Bring the hands behind the lower back, interlacing the fingers. And from here, you can open up the feet wider than hip width. It's a nice wide ankle stretch. Open your heels out too. Breathe in to open up, breathe out. Let the hands come away from your lower back. Lift the hips up and back. Let your arms remain heavy. The head drawn closer to your mat. And bring it back up again. Inhale. Let's come to one end of the mat. And before we go there, I'm just going to bring my weights to the top of the mat. So I'm going with medium ones, just because for my weights, since I don't have smaller dumbbells, so it's a little bit easier to reach and to work with. So from here, let's take an inhale, reach up, exhale, bow, and take it into a hinge. Come all the way into forward fold. Inhale to flat back, walk those hands away, and come on into a plank. I'm going to take my weights and hold on to them, placing them under the shoulders as I come into this plank position. So from here, breathing in, legs are nice and strong, pushing the hips back. Right hand goes toward the left foot. Bring it back into my plank. Inhale, exhale, opposite side. Reach the cross, back to my plank. And reach, lifting those hips up. Alternating side to side. Take your time. Reach to the point that you are most comfortable. So depending again on your range of motion, your flexibility, you might be touching your knee. Make sure you don't bang into it with your weight. Just a little tap, just raising or just coming very close to the leg. If you've got bigger flexibility, you can reach lower. And once again, we're gonna go for one more on each side. And bring it to your plank. Hold it here. Take a breath in. Exhale. Bend and release all the way down. You can set the weights aside. Bring the hands outside of the ribs. Press up into a cobra. Push back into your child's pose. Bringing the hips back, forehead down. If you want a little bit more ease, bring those knees apart and just let your belly come through the legs. Maybe even bring the ear to the mat. Then take a little rest. Lots of softness, lots of heaviness. If you're bringing the ear to the mat, switch it over to the other side. And slowly unroll yourself. From here, I'm going to kickstand out my left knee or my right knee. Doesn't matter, one of the knees. And you're going to extend the other leg. So I'm kind of mirroring you here, so that's why I get a little confused on which side. So I'm going to extend my other leg long, using my same hand as the kickstand knee to place under the shoulder. I'm picking up the weight with my other hand, and I think I'm going to go with a light one here. So from here, I'm going to reach the weight up, hold it up here, and then lift the leg. I lower the arm and bring it back to starting position. So reach and back. Now this one you could totally do without a weight as well. So see how it feels for your shoulder, and if it's feeling like too much of a struggle, just drop the weight and continue to keep the body in that beautiful alignment. Nice stillness through the core of the body. We're focusing on the arm and the leg moving here. Last one. Hold it here. Bring the knee toward the elbow, elbow toward knee, and reach it long. Bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. So breathing in when it's easy. So when you're reaching it long, it's a little easier. And when you're tucking in, squeezing, you're breathing out. You're compressing the diaphragm, the lungs. Last one. here. Let's bring that right arm up, or the arm that was holding on to the weight, bring it up. Take it across for a threading of the needle, ear to the mat. Looking up past that top shoulder. And bring it back up again. Come on back. So let's switch sides. We're going to kickstand the opposite leg, reaching the other one long, and once again, weight or no weight, hand is under the shoulder. You're starting off with the arm up, and as you lower the arm, you're lifting the leg, getting lots of length here. Reach and lift. And as usual, one side is typically going to be easier for you. You really want to feel the squeeze in that top glute here. That's lifting the leg, that side glute. The abductors are working. Gluteus medius, get the hip stabilizer. And that bottom hip is working to keep you nice and stable. So again, we're coming to our last one. We're going to hold it there, hold it, and then bring elbow toward knee. They don't have to touch. You're moving them toward each other. Breathe in, breathe out. So working those oblique muscles on this one. Reach, squeeze, reach, squeeze. Last one, squeeze, reach, bring it down. And take that weight that was holding onto your, or the arm that was holding onto the weight, reach it through, threading the needle to the other side. Resting nice and easy here. And bring it back up again. Excellent. From here, we move forward into our hovering plank. So you're going to bring your forearms, so move these out of the way so you have a good view. And we're going to have the elbows under the shoulders. You can do this from your knees, or you could do it from your hips. You decide what will serve you best. But as you press through those forearms, reaching the head forward, make sure that your feet are just a little bit to the outer hips. And from here, we bring the left forearm across the body as we reach up with the opposite arm. Lifting the hips nice and high. Bend that arm, bring it across. Switch it over, opposite side, reach. Inhale, and switch. Reach it up, keeping your hips nice and lifted as you move through this. Taking your time, deliberate rotation here, and distributing that weight through the whole forearm that's on the bottom and the outer edge of that foot, or you can do it from your knee as well, especially if you get tired. We've got two more on each side. So reach it up, inhale, and reach. One more on each side. And last one right here. Oh, we need one more. We started on this side. So let's finish on the opposite side. Bring it down, and knees come down, and body releases onto the mat. So from here you can stack your hands, bring ear to the mat, take a little recovery. And as you bring the arms alongside the body, palms down, and from here, tuck the tailbone, and the tip of your nose is just grazing the floor. Take an inhalation as we lift everything, and we squeeze the shoulder blades toward each other. We squeeze the sacrum toward the bottom tips of your shoulder blades, lifting those thighs off the floor, and bring it back down again. So we repeat this 9 more times. So breathing in at the bottom, breathe out, lift and squeeze, really reach through your fingertips, and down. Lift and squeeze. Breathing in fully at the bottom. Breathing out as you lift up. Trying to get those bottom ribs to come off the floor even. We're halfway there with this one. Really focusing on getting airborne here. 4 more. 3. And 2 more. Last one. And bring it down. Again, hands stacked at the top of the mat. Bring your right ear to those hands. Slide your left knee out to the side. Half frog, release. And let's switch it over to the other side. Bring the opposite knee to the side. And bring it down. From here, let's walk those hands outside of your ribs. So we're not done yet. You're gonna still challenge the body. So from your knees or from your toes, you're going to squeeze those elbows in. Make a big handprint here. Reach your head forward. Keep that core engaged. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, press up into your plank. Hold it here. Breathe in and breathe out. Come on down to elbow level. Press it back up again. Bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. Can you do 2 more? 1 more from here. Press it back to your downward dog. And open up those hands a little bit wider. Let's have a little bit of fun here as you bend the knees. Take a little hop. Place your bottom right into that space as we come into seated. So sitting nice and tall. We're going to take the heavy or lighter weights. You could have 2 of your lighter or medium ones, or you can pick 1 heavy one. And you're going to bring it in front of you. I'm holding on to the 2 ends of the dumbbells and aligning my shoulders right over my hips. From here, bringing the feet in, little tuck of the tailbone, pull of the belly, keeping those weights away from the chest. Take a breath in and tip over to one side. Breathe in, turn to the other side. So make sure you turn your rib cage and not moving your arms. Your arms stay locked into position. It's kind of the same as when we were doing those deadlifts. You want to use your body for the movement rather than turning and using your arms. And let's finish up with 1 more on either side. Bring it up. And I'm going to switch from a heavy weight to a medium weight. Or you could have no weight. But this time, I'm bringing the legs up into a half boat. Keep that belly pulled in. We're going to tip again, elbow toward the floor as we turn the body. Turn your body. Turn side to side. Really working those oblique muscles, really carving that waistline. Summer's coming. You want to get that waist in shape. Side to side, 1 more to each side. Bring it up and release the weight. Before we move on, we're going to take a little stretch. Bring the hands slightly behind you, fingertips pointing towards your feet. Bend your knees. Let's come up into a reverse table. So lifting the hips up, opening the chest. A nice counterbalance here. Squeeze the glutes to get those hips up a little tiny bit higher, and then bring them down again. Sit nice and tall. We're not done yet with those obliques. So from here, as you come back down. Now, you could have a weight if you wanted to. I'm opting to go without weights for this one. We're bringing the feet in like we did. We're lifting the legs up if you wish. And from here with hands from right in front of my chest as if I was holding on to weights, I'm going to twist and reach one leg long back to the center. And switch. And alternate. Side to side. reach, reach, reach. And let's finish this one up with another 2 on each side. One more. And finish it right here. Bring the soles of your feet together. Butterfly those legs to give those inner hips, inner thighs, groin muscles a good stretch. Now breathe in, tip forward, let the knees open up. It's nice to have that little bit of retreat between the exercises, but not too long yet. As we bring the feet back out. Now you can keep your legs bent to do your reverse table like we just did. Really emphasizing that squeeze of the glutes. Great opening for the shoulders. Or you can come into inclined plane where we extend the legs long, so it's like a reverse plank. You have the hands behind you, slightly fingertips pointed straight ahead, keeping that heart open and pressing into the heels, but feel like you're trying to get your toes to touch the floor. As you lift yourself up, opening up, nice length in the body, pressing into your left heel. As you lift your right leg, can you keep your hips still as you do it? Do the reverse. Now you're going to find one side, like always, easier than the other side. It's these unilateral exercises that are going to help to bring balance to both sides of the body. Keep your hips still, still, still. Let's do one more on each leg. Last one. Hold it a little higher and bring it down. Well done. So making sure that you have your weights near. A little bit of a variety of weights here as we move down to the floor. So from here, I'm going to take my leg weights, hold them in front of me, bringing a bend to my feet, or to my knees, making sure that you've got enough room behind you as you get the body nice and strong, core strong. Inhale, exhale to roll yourself down, and just rolling down partially so that you can roll yourself up. So we're just going to do a few of these, rolling down, rolling up. And you do want to have that kind of motion where it is a rolling. You're tucking your tailbone so that it's pointing towards your knees, or intended that direction, so that it is a rounding and an articulation while your abdominal muscles work so hard to keep you stabilized. This time, we're going to come down and we're going to hold it there. Hold it. Maybe bringing arms out of the side, lifting one leg out of the tabletop, reach it long and bring it back. With the other one, reach it long and bring it back and down, open the heart and roll it all the way down. Stretch your legs out, stretch your arms out, nice and long back behind you, and breathe easy here. So from here, we are going to bring the hands, or keep your weights handy. I think I'm going to go back to medium weights for this one. And so the 2 weights is what I will choose to use. Pelvis is nicely aligned here. Chest is nice and open. And make sure that pelvis stays neutral. To bend your knees to make sure that it is neutral. Go ahead, do that, readjust. Brace yourself as you lift maybe one leg at a time or both legs to bring them up over your hips, nice and long. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, lower yourself to hover above the floor and bring it back up again. So we'll do a few of those. Now modification would be to bend your knees, especially if you're getting tired. We're almost at the end of the workout here. So if you're getting tired, just use your modifications. Or if you want to keep the legs straight, you could do one leg at a time, alternating them side to side, or keep going with the 2 legs. Now when we get to the bottom this time, the legs are long, or even if they're bent, open them wide. Circle them back up again. Lower with control, lower, 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 lower. Open them wide and circle them back together. Breathe in and then breathe out. Use that exhale to help give you control, strength, power. Open those legs. Circle it back. One last one. Open that up. Bring those legs back and hold it here. Bringing the weights up above the shoulders. Keep the legs over your hips. Keep the chest nice and open. Take a breath in, tuck the chin, and then reach toward the feet. And reach. Now, every time you roll up and reach, do try to feel as if you were rolling onto the bottom tips of your shoulder blades. So you want to pick up as much of your shoulder blades as possible. Now this time as you come down, we're going to bend the elbows as we lower the right leg. So the elbows just hover above the floor. They don't actually touch, but we separate the hands, keep the wrists over the elbows. Bring it back up again and switch the legs. So as you alternate this side to side, do make sure that you are keeping your pelvis well aligned. So you're never lowering the leg so much that you feel like your back is starting to arch or lift off the floor. So you want to maintain neutral. So for some people, neutral means that the whole spine is not touching the floor. Because if you do force it to do that and your spine doesn't work that way, you're putting yourself in flexion, which can be detrimental to your discs, to your back. You will strain on the lower back. So let's do one more here, each side. And lower, bring it up, hold the weights up, turn the knuckles to face each other, bend the legs and bring your feet down. We're going to tuck the tailbone and lift up into a bridge. So as we keep those knuckles facing each other, keeping those elbows or the arms lifted over the shoulders, let's bend, bring them toward the hairline, top of the head, and straighten again. So bending and straightening, but squeeze the glutes while you do this. Make sure that your knees are flaring out or collapsing in, and the same goes with your elbows. Keep them still. Don't move your upper arm. The only thing that's moving here is the forearm as it hinges at the elbow joint. So you should start to feel this in the back of the arm, the triceps. That's where we want to feel it. Make sure your belly is squeezed in. Bring your back to the floor if it's too much to do both at the same time. But we want to feel this in the triceps. That little muscle group really adds definition to the upper arms, which is what I think everybody likes, men and ladies as well. So as we bring the arm up this time, bend the elbow, lower your spine, and set your ribs aside. Hug the knees into the body. Give yourself a nice hug as you massage out your back, rocking it side to side. And bring your left leg along as you keep the right knee into the body. You can bring that left leg to the floor if you like, or you could keep it just reaching away, keeping it active. Pointing through those sets of toes, flexing both ankles, pulling yourself up, maybe walking the hands up the back of that leg to rest the left leg down. As you lift your nose to the inside of your knee, and move down again. take the hand to the kneecap, right hand to kneecap, massage it out. Beautiful round movements to reward that joint. Circle it in both directions. Switch the hand grip, left hand to right knee. Bring it across your body. Look over toward your right hand. And if you want, you could bend your left leg and maybe grab a hold of your left foot with your right hand. You might even grab a hold of your right big toe with your left hand for the cat pulling its tail. So you really get a deep twist. So you explore the twist that works for you. And then let it go. Come on back. Keeping your left leg bent, your right one bent too. Let's put the right ankle on top of our left thigh, reaching through that opening to pull and come into a reclined pigeon. Every time you breathe out, you're pulling that in closer. You might even hold on to the knee or to the shin, getting a really, really good squeeze in here. And then bring it down. So you release it, switching it around. Bring your left knee into the body. Again, pull it in nice and close to you. And as you stretch the leg long, clasping the back of it, right leg can hover or rest on the floor. Point through both toes, flex both ankles, hold there. Reach the hands up the back of the leg, pulling in closer and closer. Nose to the inside of that leg. And as you bend the knee, taking your right hand to left knee and bringing it across your body. Open up through your chest. Relax your face, jaw. And again, we could reach for your right foot with your left hand, pulling it in. Maybe your left big toe with your right hand, cat pulling the tail. Try to keep that left shoulder. If you do attempt to go deep like that, try to keep your left shoulder connected to the floor. And breathe. Use your breath. That's going to always help you to get the biggest stretch possible. And then let it go. Unwind yourself. Bring your ankle across the top of your other thigh, reaching through. Reclining pigeon. Pull, pull, pull to the extent that feels good for you. So you don't want to feel this in your knee. You want to feel it back here instead in your glute, hamstring attachment especially. You might feel it a little bit in the inner thigh, but never in your knee. If you do feel it in the knee, just ease it off. It means you've got more work to do in the hip. And as you release that, bring the feet flat on the floor. Lift up into your bridge, but this time we make it a yoga bridge as we walk the shoulder blades toward each other. You can either interlace your hands under your back, or you could reach for your ankles or your heels, grabbing a hold of them to give yourself some leverage so that you can lift and open up the hips even more. Breathe into that, and then release it down. Bring your right arm, left arm alongside the ears. You roll onto your favorite side and come on into a fetal position, rounding here into the back a little bit, and then press yourself up. As you come up, sitting in a comfortable position. We're not here very long, just long enough to do a couple of arm stretches. As we open them up, bring one hand down, bring the other arm up and over and across. You can even bring hand to the back of the head as you turn to look toward that elbow. And release the arm up. Let's switch it over. Reaching up and over, soften the arm on the side you're leaning into. Feels good to stretch those obliques. after that oblique work we did quite a bit on those today. And then release it. Roll out the shoulders a little bit. Take a big breath in. And from here, bring your right arm in front. Wind the left one underneath. Squeeze those elbows together. Rest your forehead on the thumbs. Maybe hold it there, or perhaps you're able to tip forward into full to deeply stretch inner thighs as well as mid back, upper back, low back, and unwind the arms. Reach it up again. Inhale. Switch the arms around. Bring your left one around. Right one winds under. So making sure it's the opposite side of what we did the last time. And again, stay there, or maybe explore hinging it and deepening it. And then slowly unwind. Feels so good. To stretch it out. Roll out your shoulders. Take another big breath in. Inhale. Really stretching through the chest as you do that. One final quick stretch here as we get into the triceps. So one hand behind the back, kind of aiming between the shoulder blades as you slide the other one down. Lift your gaze. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, switch it around. Other side. Lift your gaze again. Open the chest. Breathe in. And release it. Drop the ear to the shoulder. Other ear to the shoulder. Inhale, back up. A little turn to the one side. Inhale to the center. Exhale, turn to the other side. Bring it back to the middle. And one final big stretch. Bringing those hands to the heart center. Take a moment to really appreciate your discipline today for getting yourself on the mat. Namaste.